everyone, welcome to Humbled Nature. Thank you for all the inbox messages that I've been receiving from the last videos that I did, and I'm so thankful to God that He's allowing me to use my life experiences to show other people that we actually need life in Christ. One of the inbox messages that I received from a friend was in regards to sex and celibacy. This is a taboo. Our Zimbabwean culture does not allow us to freely talk about sex, but unfortunately, these are things that are happening currently. We have children as young as 13 taking part in an act that they do not understand. I've realized that silence is what the devil likes to use. He wants us to be quiet about a sin, and in that, we just overlook it. In our culture, sex becomes a problem when one gets sick or gets pregnant. I am going to talk about some factors that can affect your celibacy, especially in university and in a foreign country. The first factor is expectation. What I mean by expectation is that in university, or when you get to a certain age in your life, you're now expected to be having sex. When you get to university, you meet someone who's interested in you. He's like, she's cute. And then you're like, he cute. So you're like, okay, let's give it a try. And by giving it a try, you literally are meaning bumping your bodies together. I don't know where anybody got that from. Sex has become something so expected in relationships that we don't even discuss it anymore. The second factor that really affects your celibacy is loneliness. And I am going to explain this with a very embarrassing story of something that I went through. I don't like talking about it. I don't even like thinking about it when I'm alone. But if my embarrassing story is going to turn into someone's lesson, then I might as well share it. When I first got to Shanghai, we were about 20 new foreign students that were studying the Chinese program. So I arrived 3 days before everyone else, and I was really content with myself. Like, I was happy if I had my cigarettes, my alcohol, and partying. I was just okay with that. But it's not the best, but bear with me, okay? So the first night when I got there, I approached the boys. I'm like, where's the party at? They're like, no, there are no nice clubs down this side, so we can just go drink at a local chill spot. And I was like, okay, that's good. So when we went there, there's a guy that I was talking to. I kind of clicked with him, like as a friend. We're just talking, getting along. So the next 3 days, I kept on talking to him and just getting to, just drink with them, really, basically. But now the other remaining students came, and they had met before. So they kind of had like their little cliques going on. They were now friends and they knew each other. The first few days we were placed in temporary housing, and so I was staying with 2 other girls, but they had met before, so they had a friendship going on. And then my thoughts just started singing to me. You're alone, you're alone, you're homesick, you're homesick, you're alone. So I started hanging out more with the guy that I mentioned earlier. And, we spent a lot of time together, but we would just be drinking and smoking, really. And then a few days later, he comes to me and then he said, I can't be friends with you anymore. I have feelings for you, whatnot, whatnot. And this was like a few days. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on? And so he was like, I really like you. Unless we're going to try this, I am going to stop being friends with you. I was so vulnerable, okay? In that time, I was like, I just need to be around somebody. So I was like, okay, fine, let's give it a go. Let's try dating. And again, we never discussed the sex part, it just became part of the relationship. A few weeks later, after we started dating, he now started hitting on the other girl, and that I had been housing with. And she came to me, she's like, girl, your boy, this is like, what's going on? These are the messages that he's sending me. And I got so hurt. I was actually really hurt. And I was like, okay, no, we need to put a stop to this. We're not doing this anymore. And then he was okay with it. Again, loneliness was still lingering around. So this guy then failed with the other girl, and then he came back. And because I was such in a vulnerable space, I was okay with taking him back. And that was, I don't know if you saw that eye roll, but I just did, okay? I just took him back and we got back together. We started dating again. And that same weekend, we went out with another girl. She got really drunk. And I thought I was being a good friend. I'm like, oh, babe, can you take her outside? She needs some air. And then they went outside. And one of the club promoters came. He's like, wait, did you just say that's your guy? I'm like, yeah, what's up? And then he's like, go see what he's doing outside. And he had taken this girl onto his lap and he was making out with her. And so I just broke up with him permanently that time. I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not throwing any shade at anybody, but this is not the guy that I would usually go for. But because loneliness was there, I allowed it to creep in, and in order to have him stay around, sex was part of the relationship. But that's not the case. You don't keep around somebody with sex. After I broke up with him, I started seeing someone, and it wasn't even dating at that time. Again, loneliness can affect your walk in celibacy. This was just really an arrangement of doing things together. And I eventually got to a point where I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And then that's when this fellow was like, okay, fine, now we can start dating. After he realized the sex part wasn't going to be there anymore. Our relationship, honestly, it was based on alcohol, partying, and sex. That's the honest truth. There was no really trying to get to know each other. And through that, I was really sinning against myself. I was sinning against God. I'm saying this not to throw shade at anybody, but this is the truth. These are things that are happening. Girls are sticking around in relationships just because they do not want to be alone. Similarly with men, they're sticking around in relationships with girls they don't even appreciate, but just because they don't want to be alone, they'd rather have somebody waiting for them in their beds, and then they go out and do whatever they want with their friends, come back, sleep with her, and then go out and do whatever they want. This is a message to anyone who says, he cheated on me, so I'll cheat on him, or she cheated on me, so I'll cheat on her. Yo, you're not cheating on them. You're actually cheating on yourself, like your own body. How sucky is that? The third factor that can affect your celibacy is freedom. I have met so many people who came from really strict homes. They were told, do not do this, do not do that. I don't want to see you with this person. I don't want to see you out at this specific time. So much so that when these people come to university, they are now tasting what it's like to actually be not controlled. And the damage with that is that they don't know how to control themselves. They were being controlled, and now they just let loose. People are now willing to try everything from drinking, smoking, having unnecessary sex sometimes. Let me tell you, sometimes it's unnecessary. I have witnessed a lot of people get drunk for the first time. I have witnessed a lot of people who were actually in Christ, and when they got to university, they now just got lost, like really, really lost. The other thing that affects your celibacy is the lack of identity. If you do not know who you really are in Christ, you are going to stumble. There's going to be that one person who comes and convinces you it's okay to have sex, it's okay to drink, it's okay to smoke. You have to be firm in your faith. You have to be like, no, 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 no. I am not doing this. God does not want me to do this. Do not be afraid to be that one person who actually stands up for what is right. I will share what I believe may be solutions to some of the factors that affect your celibacy. The first one is expectation. So the solution to that would be do not expect. Do not think you have to have sex when you're in a relationship. You don't have to. Sex is not going to keep anybody around, okay? It's just going to sell you short and it'll make you so vulnerable. Don't do it. The solution to loneliness is prayer. When you find that you're at home and everyone else is out partying, and talk to God about it. You know, these are things that you say, God, I'm really tempted to go out with the other people. Please send me the strength not to do it. Please. I am not going to go out to the bar. I am not going to go have sex. So what do? I have to go look for people who also believe in what I believe. You cannot say I am not going to join the others, but also stay at home and not go to church or find friends, like-minded friends. You have to do something. People have allowed loneliness to affect them. I've met so many people who were in unhealthy relationships. I mean, unhealthy spiritually, emotionally, and some of them physically. Do not let loneliness creep up and just turn you into something that you're not. The other solution to loneliness is hearing God's words. Sometimes we're so lonely that we need validation from other people. We need to hear somebody tell us we're beautiful. We need somebody to show us that we're important. But you don't need that. We live by the words that come out of God's mouth, not other people. The solution to freedom is be educated. You have to know why you're not supposed to have sex. You have to know why you're not supposed to do A, B, C, D. The problem with us in our culture is that we tend to tell people not to do something, but not educate them why they shouldn't do it. You shouldn't have sex because it is a sin against yourself and against God. It is something that you should hold to do with somebody. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying sex is bad. Don't get me wrong. It's okay, but you just have to wait. The number one solution is just to wait. Sounds hard, right? But you just have to wait. Wait for that person that God says it's okay for you to become one with. And when that happens, I mean, go ahead, do what you want to do. You can throw them legs, you can throw them pillows, scratch, bite. I don't care what you want to do. But because God has ordained it, you can go ahead and actually freely enjoy it. So I hope these actually help you realize the importance of celibacy, that it is not just for God, but it's also for you. My sister, she's going to do a part 2 of the consequences of having sex, the soul ties and STDs and pregnancies, you name it. She's going to talk about that and answer all those questions. But for me, I am done right here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.